Good evening. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. My name is Silke. I am the publisher and CEO of Silke Endress, Lifestyle of the Lady CEO, International Professional Women's Magazine. Tonight we're here at MetroStage in Alexandria with Alexandria, Virginia, with LCB, Glenn Leonard, Joe Blunt, and Joe Coleman. So I want to thank you guys for taking the opportunity to speak with me tonight before this amazing show. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Now, you guys are DC natives and you grew up together and you have some really amazing stories. I want to talk about when you were younger and you grew up in the church, getting that really good soulful foundation. Tell me what that was like for you.
Well, this is Joe Coleman, formerly of the Platters. Yes, I grew up in DC, went to public school here in Roosevelt High School, and that sort of thing. But my early musical training came directly from my mom, Reverend Effie Coleman, who put me into the choir. It's my favorite story. Coming home from school, I'm about 7 or 8 years old, and my mother yells downstairs, "Joey, it's time to get ready for choir rehearsal." I said, "Well, Mom, I'm not in the choir." And she said, "Oh, I didn't tell you? You are in the choir." So, and of course, this is where I met this young man, Joe Blunt. He was also
drafted.
Yeah, drafted and constricted into the choir. His mother and my mother were the co-directors of the choir. And that's pretty much where the beginning of our journey, and where we learned to group singing and harmony singing and choral singing and solo, even for that matter, because Mom always had her hand in my back pushing me forward to sing. So yeah, those are the beginnings for me.
Wow, so Joe, what was that like for you, being drafted into the choir?
Well, I didn't have any choice, so it really wasn't a big decision making involved. But growing up in the church period, of course, laid a foundation for all of us in terms of our perspectives on life and so forth. And singing was just a big part of it because it was something that we loved to do, first of all. And growing up in the church, of course, we sang with the junior choir, as they call it. Mm-hmm. And my sister played the piano, and my brother, and Joe's brother, and all of us were together in that moment. And it was quite an experience growing up. And then later on, we got older, and I went to junior high school and met this guy, Glenn Leonard, over here, in junior high school. And he had a group at that time called the Chancellors, as a matter of fact, back in the day. And one thing led to another, and we wound up singing together in that group. So it's been a process, a very interesting journey, shall we say.
Interesting. So Glenn, what was that like meeting a soul brother at that time in your life when you were younger?
Soul brother? Do we still use that word? Soul brother?
I'm old school. I'm old school.
Well, let me back up and pull up into that the way they did. Starting out as a youngster, we were poor family, and all I was waiting for was a chance to get out on my own and make me some money. Because everywhere I looked, there were needs. We needed food, clothes, bills paid, that kind of thing. And so church was a mainstay. But the church I went to growing up, and church does give us good disciplines and things like that, but sometimes they can be a little too disciplined. We couldn't watch TV, we couldn't listen to music, we couldn't play sports. So needless to say, I was not interested in church. And then later on, I put a pause right there, wound up being an ordained licensed preacher.
Isn't that amazing? Train a child the way you want them to go.
So you can run all you want to, but if God's got a hook in your mouth, you coming in. Okay, back where we left off. I met Joe Blunt in junior high, Leonard Junior High, I believe it was.
Tab.
Was it Tab? Yeah. Tab, okay, one of them schools. Anyway. And it was putting on a talent show. And so I'm there checking out all the talent. I knew from very, very young what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to sing. My mother sang. My daddy could sing, whistle. He he could make you believe he could play any kind of instrument, even though he couldn't. He was a natural charismatic man.
So it was just organic for him just to
Yeah,
pick it up. Awesome.
So I started listening to people like Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, the Isley Brothers, and all the little groups came up during the rock and roll era. Little Anthony and the Imperials were one of my favorite groups. People don't know that, but way before the Temptations. Most people think that the only group I've ever loved was the Temptations. But Little Anthony and the Imperials were my favorite group. So I loved their sound, so I started listening to him. He was the first tenor that really started to mentor me from a distance, as it were. And so I met Joe Blunt, and we were holding these auditions, and heard this guy get up and sing this Jerry Butler song, God Bless Our Love. And I listened to him singing. He sang there by himself on the piano, and I noticed that all the girls were hollering, and I said, I might want to get him in the group. So I walked over there, introduced myself, asked him, I said, I'm starting a group. You want to sing with me? He said, well, who are you? So I told him who I was, and at some point we came together. I went to his house, and we started messing around, singing. Went and found some other guys. I was the kind of guy who would get out and find people. Their mamas drafted them in the choir. I draft you to get in my group.
So you went fishing. You went out there and find those people. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it all began.
That is amazing. That really is
Met Joe
amazing.
Coleman right after high school. He was going into the National Guard. I think he got drafted or something. So he was trying to keep him going over there and carrying a rifle in Vietnam. So he joined the National Guard. So he says, I got somebody. So he brings this gentleman.
Yeah, and I was coming out of the Air Force, so just getting out
Look
of the
at
Air
that.
I tell you the most amazing thing about this situation here. When we met Joe Coleman, he didn't talk. I don't remember him ever saying anything. He just kind of stood back and looked.
Shy, very shy.
So I remember asking Joe Blunt.
Or reserved.
So I remember asking Joe, I said, now, you said he sang, right? I ain't heard him talk. Do he talk? So Joe said, yeah, he got a good voice. You know. So finally he eased on up and opened up and flipped to the day. This guy's done musicals. He's a songwriter, singer, producer, mentor, tremendously gifted individual. As Joe Blunt would say, I don't know how he get all them hats on that little old head, but he did.
It's so amazing. I'm sitting and listening to these three amazing stories, and I tell you what, this is so typical of Jeremiah 29:11. God knows the plan He has for you. Like you say, you can run, but you can't hide from God. Just imagine that He did this from the time you were young, and He ordained this time.
Yes.
He ordained you for
And
this
that's
time.
Well, and you're right. God does ordain things, but I always add this, being a minister, but you have to answer.
You have to answer the
to
call.
Say yes. So everything that God ordains don't happen just because He ordained it. He's dealing with human beings that He gave free will to. So you have to say yay or nay, and He'll let you say no, knowing you should say yes.
And He'll jack you up all along the way until you say yes.
He'll hit you across the knee.
That's true.
With that.
That's true.
Yeah.
So now tell me about the Temptations. So when you joined the Temptations, back when you joined the Temptations, as a young girl coming up, I listened to all of this music. And then yesterday, after speaking to you, I just went down. I just started going Temptations. I just went all the way through. So tell me what it's like was singing in the Temptations.
Well, funny. It was a dream come true for me. From the very first time I heard the Temptations, I knew I was going to sing with them. And I don't mean it to sound arrogant or anything, but I knew something that I didn't know how I knew it. I remember we were working with a guy named Freddie Perrin. Freddie Perrin was a producer. He's the guy that produced for Motown, the Jacksons, Tabars, Gloria Gaynor, ABC. He did all that stuff. Well, Freddie groomed us. He taught us 5-part harmony, worked with us. He worked with our group, the Chancellors, when we were in high school.
Oh, interesting. See, it keeps coming back full
So
circle.
I remember saying all the time, I said, well, one day, this is okay for a while, but one day I'm going to sing with the Temptations. And I should say that all the time. And I remember Freddie told, I don't know who he told, I think he told Joe and somebody else. guys watch Glenn. He really thinks he's gonna sing with the Temps one day. So, I mean, we don't want, we want the guy to be flipped out.
Right.
But I knew that was in my life. I knew it was coming.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
The Drifters, the Platters. Talk to me. How did it all begin?
Well, in my case, getting with the Drifters was also a dream come true, because I grew up listening to Drifters music and so forth, and Glenn was on tour with the Temptations, as a matter of fact, in Europe, and they ran across the Drifters there, they were performing there at the time, and found out that the Drifters were looking for someone to replace someone who had left, and so Glenn kind of put the word in for his boy, said, well, I know a guy in D.C. named Joe Blunt that might be the perfect fit for you, give him a call, So I got a call from the Drifters manager inquiring as to whether or not I would be interested in going on the road with the Drifters. And I said, really? The Drifters? Yeah. And it turns out, well, for one thing, at the time the Drifters had a resurgence in popularity overseas. So they were doing a lot of dates in Europe and recording in Europe and the whole 9 yards, long after their tenure in the U.S. had kind of slowed down a little bit. So to make a long story short, I got with the group in New York and did some rehearsing, and next thing I knew I was on a plane to Europe on a tour. So it was quite an experience, and just being in that environment and getting an opportunity to perform alongside two members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Benny King and Johnny Moore.
Wow.
And it was quite an experience. I enjoyed it.
Wow, amazing. Tell me about your experience with the Platters.
Well, the Platters I had moved to New York. I felt I needed to get a little closer to the music. All the record labels and all of the music that I was interested in was centered there, it appeared. And so I moved to New York, and I had a good friend who was a lounge singer in Atlantic City who called me up and said that the Platters were looking for a new member, and gave me the number. I called and went to a little rehearsal studio down Midtown Manhattan and auditioned. And it turned out the guy who was doing the audition was Derek David.
Is that what it was?
Yes. And he said, "You're Willie's brother." It was
Wow.
the craziest thing. He was an old friend of
Full
my brother.
circle.
Yeah, by the way, my brother ended up singing with the Persuaders for a while, Thin Line Between Love and Hate
whoop.
and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so we did that audition and things went well, and next thing I know, I think I was somewhere in the Midwest doing a show. Probably 2 or 3 weeks after that, I was on the road,
Wow.
And we toured, been all over the place in China, and, Hong Kong and Japan, and all the places that I've grown to love, and it was an amazing experience.
That's amazing. So you guys have come together as young men,
Yeah.
went your separate ways to 3 amazing groups, and now you're back together again. So now tell me, what is the vision for LCB, and where do you plan to take it? I know you guys are it's just endless. I'm excited.
Well, first of all, you heard the main thing that we want to do, besides continuing this legacy of great music, is to establish LCB as an entity in and of itself, with credibility, music that we're known for. Mm-hmm. And so you heard one of the songs that God blessed me to write for the group and produce on the group. We sang the love songs. You heard it.
Mm-hmm. Is that original for LCB?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
I
Okay.
wrote that
It's
song.
original for the world.
Okay.
Yeah, original for I like that. An original for the world, and that one, and another song, "My Time to Shine." I can't wait till we get this other song on stage that I put on Glenn. Now, trust me, wait till you hear that old tenor thing,
Oh, I can't wait.
I can see by the look in your eyes.
Oh my goodness.
You've been hurt More than your friends realize. You know, so it's a song called
Nice.
"Trust Me" that
Nice.
Glenn kills it. He wears it out. I want to get that one on stage next. I want some folks to hear that and respond to the great vocal that he's putting on that thing.
I love it. I love it. So now, one of the things we do when we end our interviews, we ask two amazing questions because I think it's really important to always reach back what those are looking at you that are aspiring to be you. Those were who you were when you were back at Langley High, back when you were younger in D.C.
Yeah.
It's called Jewels of Wisdom. What are your jewels of wisdom for young men out there or even young ladies that are looking at you? It's like, you know what? I want to do that. I want to be up on that stage. I want to be doing my temptation walk. I want to do that. What are your jewels of wisdom? What kind of advice can you give them?
I got a little nugget right here. It's 2 words. Show business. It's 80% business and 20% show. So I would, and the music industry, let me put it, the entertainment industry has totally changed because of social media. So you got to learn. You got to learn the world.
Yeah.
You got to learn the music world all over again. We've had to do it. We're still doing it. There are a lot of things that I'm so old school that I can't understand why we can't get things done the way we used to.
Don't change. Trust me. You're doing it right. You're doing it right. You're doing it right. Joe Coleman.
Yeah, I would say, know your history. Study the music. Study those who've come before you, and learn some of those great lessons that they've already taught. The things that they've gone through. This is a business that requires that you commit wholly and fully to it. You can't give up, and you can't allow people to tell you that you can't do it. If you make up your mind to do it, go for it, and stand your ground.
Absolutely.
Stand your ground.
Joe Blunt.
And to piggyback on what Joe Coleman just said, a lot of it has to do with believing in yourself. Believing in your ability, your God-given ability to do the things that you want to do, and go for it. Just go for it. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it, because you can.
That's right.
And that's the most important thing. Believing in yourself, and on top of that, believing in God is a tremendous help as well, because you can't do it without it.
Amen.
And if you believe that and believe in yourself, and just go for it.
I love it. I want to thank you so very much. I know the time is short. I know you have to go back there and get dressed, get ready for this amazing show. I am ready, dead smack in the center. I'm ready to jam and groove with you guys. I just want to thank you. God bless you. Thank you for sharing your amazing stories. This is a journey that was set from way back when you didn't even know it. And I just want to encourage you to keep on going till the wheels fall off, because we'll be right there riding with you.
Thank you so
Amen.
much, Cece.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Once again, this is Cece Cole with Glenn Leonard, Joe Coleman, Joe Blunt from LCB. Check them out. Go on their website at leonardcolemanblunt.com. Check them out, see where they're going, and follow these guys. They're on Instagram. They're on social media. They're everywhere.
Twitter. Yeah.
They're out there. Just follow them. Support them.
Yeah.
We really need to support this great, authentic music. We don't have music like this anymore. So let's support this and keep it going. And I'm sure right now they're probably doing mentoring within the community as well. As you hear, they talked about doing some really great things and having people believe in themselves. So let's go out and let's support this LCB group. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.